Good afternoon, everyone. Hi, this is Kelly Bailey from Bailey Rose and Company. I'm coming at you on Monday for Monday Motivation, and this has to be a super quick one because I've got to run out to get the kids from the bus, or the girls, I should say. My little guy's playing here. If he starts screaming at me, asking for pieces of a puzzle, he's just learning how to put puzzles together and loves it. So anyway, the topic for today is, I have to read it because I just forgot what I wrote. Moving on from postpartum depression, part 1.5. That's what I called it. And that is talking about adjusting mindset. So I realized pretty much directly after I went live last week that there's a step that I forgot that was in my process. I've written everything down now, but it was funny at the time. I was like, oops. So I wanted to kind of take a step back for a minute and just talk about some things. So kind of part 1 was getting out of bed and using your 5-second rule, or whatever it is that can make you do something really quickly. I love the 5-second rule. It really helped me. Sometimes it was just get your ass out of bed, whatever it is. And then part 2 was really to talk about kind of setting myself up with little mini routines that could help me, or sort of your basic routines to kind of help you get through your day. But there's a step, like I said, this in-between step that I'm calling 1.5 which was really adjusting my mindset. So I feel like this is pretty typical with people that have issues with depression or have had postpartum depression. So I'll share mine in particular. But I was really focusing maybe not so much on great things. I was really down there in the weeds, focusing on some terrible things, and I didn't have to. And I kind of realized when I couldn't get out of bed that I was sad about things that maybe weren't that important, but I was really focused on that. So what I would say in terms of adjusting your mindset, for me, the first step of adjusting the mindset was to focus on what I was grateful for. So for me, first of all, I was lucky to have 3 kids at all. So I have, just to share my story real quick, I have been pregnant 8 times. I have 3 kids. So I have, with the first child that is here. I was in the hospital on bed rest for 10 weeks. That is a really long time. My first 2 were born a full month early. Thankfully, they did not have to go into the NICU. I've been on IVs the entire time with all pregnancies. And so for those that went to 8-9 months, my last one actually went to 9 months. As the first time I'd been pregnant the whole time. And that is hard, people. So I give you a lot of credit, moms out there who have done that. But I had to be on an IV the whole time, every time. So I really struggled, and I should have been really happy that I even had 3 healthy children to begin with, but I wasn't focused on that. I was focused on all the little itty bitty day-to-day things that were overwhelming me. So I was oh my God, they're crying again. They need food. I need to change 500 diapers, all this laundry, and I mean, all of us get there, guys. Okay. But I was so focused on this every day that it was getting me way down. And I was wait a second, I am so lucky to have them. And there are 100 other things, million other things that I could think of that I am lucky to have, but that is not what I was thinking about. My mind could not get out of those things. So I did a live about this a while ago. And it was really just thinking of these grateful things. So I made myself do this where every morning before that jump out of bed, or right when I jumped out of bed, and every night right before I went to bed, I actually found it to be even more helpful when I went to bed, was to think of 5 things I was grateful for that day. And again, it was just that day. So you didn't have to really think. You were okay, today, what are the 5? Sometimes it was just cup of coffee, or sometimes it was it was just silly little things, you guys. And I do it now, but not as deeply as I did it before. So that was one thing. And then just to even it out, because you're okay, I mean, I want to be grateful for everything, but sometimes you just did something that you were bummed about that day. And I would forgive myself. I would think of okay, what did I make a mistake on today that I just want to forgive myself for? Maybe I ate a donut and I was feeling super guilty about it. Mom guilt is super rough, guys. So there were times where I was just I yelled at them and I just feel so bad about it. I would just forgive myself, because we are not perfect and you need to have that forgiveness in your life. So it was like the 5 things that I was grateful for and the thing that I was forgiving myself for. And then the last thing that I would do is think about like the things I wanted to focus on the next day. And again, if you did this in the morning, like I feel like that sometimes just like, what's your goal, like your main goal for today? Or like, I would just think of like a positive affirmation for the day. And so those could be like really simple things, but I started doing that every morning and every night. And it really got my mind to start thinking of things in a totally different way. And then I started really, after being grateful, I just tried to like change, because you guys, it's all a choice, right? And so it's a hard choice sometimes. You're going to have to come outside with me, because I just realized they're getting off the bus in like 1 second. I'm going to go outside without a jacket on. The bus driver doesn't like when they can't see me. Here we go. Ooh, I got packages. Yay. And you guys, I'm going to turn you because my house is being power washed on Wednesday and it looks terrible. It is like green on the front of it. I have a white house. Okay, here's the bus. I'm like waving. Okay, so thinking about, so the grateful, you know, all of that stuff, but just every day I was thinking, like, my mom used to say this to me as a kid. So apparently, like, I guess depression is something that might just like be genetic. That's what I've heard. And I had moments when I was a kid where I struggled too. My parents got divorced and it was a kind of a rough divorce and it was a difficult time for me. And my mom, who was like the most super positive person ever, she used to say this to me, and she actually gave me a book. I mentioned it one time in a live. It was like, happiness is a choice. And it's so true, but it's a choice in like so many different levels. And it's a choice to think of things in a positive way and not think of things in a terrible way. And so I just started, after I started thinking about these grateful things, and I even started making a list, like in journaling, I'll talk about it another time, but just making a list of like something that I'm grateful for every day. And I don't do it every day, but I just tried to start like a roving list of it. It's like, again, the super simplest things, like getting your hair done, might be something that you feel super grateful for. It could be, oh no, now a parent is driving by, I have to wave. Hey guys, the girls are coming home from school. Here, I'll show you. Can you see them? We're lucky that we're on the edge of the bus stop here. So again, I was thinking of things that I was just like wanting to be and making that list. And hey guys, I'm just doing this, okay?
My snack came so late, I didn't have any today.
Here we go, all the complaining when they get home from school. Do you guys get that too? Yeah. Okay, come on in. So I'm gonna leave you guys with that for now, which is just to go over it one more time as I'm walking in the house. So the things are, in changing your mindset, it's thinking about the things that you're grateful for, forgiving yourself for mistakes that you made. Again, a super important step, and I believe adjusting your mindset. And then kind of creating like affirmations for your day, and really telling yourself that a lot. I love affirmations. Maybe I'll talk about that more one time. They're so good. And then making the choice to think of positive instead of negative. So when something comes up that's like overwhelming you and stressing you out, don't choose it to think of it in a positive way. So now I have to deal with my kids, but I will let you guys go with that. Hopefully it's helpful. Please share in comments. I would love to know if that's helpful, or if anyone else has gone through something similar. I find it to be so helpful to hear about other people that have been in similar situations and how they got out of it. So anyway, I'll leave it for that, guys. Have a wonderful afternoon, and I will talk with you next week. Bye.